What is good to stuff family? It's Ray J back with another video. And this one I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'll break down what's going on with the economic calendar, what the news is saying about the markets, what you should be watching for as a Tesla trader slash investor. Before I bring any devil's information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks, and the offer ends very soon. Anyways, now let's break down what's going on with the market. There's also one more thing I want to note, guys. I haven't been getting much sleep for the last 2 nights. I was feeling fine yesterday, but today I've been feeling very, very tired, very drowsy. So I'm going to do a better job of taking care of my health. In this video, I might sound a little bit tired, so I do apologize about that. But besides that, now let's just talk about how the market is looking. So as far as Tesla goes, we actually saw this thing drop quite a bit just yesterday. Now this thing is trying to reaccumulate. So there is an attempt for Tesla to bounce here. In order for this to happen, we have to see Tesla break some key resistance levels. We have to see how Tesla performs, especially after all this data comes out. So we're going to be watching some important levels. I'll be talking about them over the next couple of minutes. Let me first note that for Tuesday, January 23rd, at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index, the Richmond Fed shipments, and the Fed services data all coming out. This is going to be the most important data for today. That's on the economic calendar. So watch for volatility at 10 a.m. or 30 minutes after the market opens. Then at 11:30 a.m. we have the 52-week bill auction coming out. Watch that very carefully. For now, we'll see how things go, but I just want to note that this is going to be very important. So watch for the volatility at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. A couple of things about the market. The Dow Jones has broken all-time highs. The S&P 500 made a new high yesterday. Market is still holding up decently, but the question is, will it continue from here? United Airlines expects to see financial impacts of the FAA's grounding of Boeing's 737 MAX 9 planes, and said in a filing that it foresees an adjusted loss between 35 cents and 85 cents for the first quarter, which is not the best for it. With that being said, we're watching to see what's happening with the investigations as some parts blew out of the 737 MAX 9s during an Alaskan airline flight. That's very important for them. For Meta, the parent company of Facebook, right? Meta has a effort that's being made to get out of the news business. This is very important because they're trying to de-emphasize news on the platform that came after a series of public relation disasters and from other sources. There's also a survey that was done that found more information about this, which led to this change in regulation. Johnson Johnson's earnings were not bad. I'll be talking more about this a little bit later anyways. And then stocks related to AI have been doing very well in 2023. We'll see if this continues for this year, but AMD, Nvidia, they're still powerhouses in my eyes long term nonetheless. So now just a couple more things when it comes to earnings. For today, we had Verizon, GE, and Johnson Johnson coming out in the morning. And then after the market closes, we have Netflix and just a couple more others. And then for Wednesday, which is going to be tomorrow, we have AT&T before market open, Progressive, and just a few others. And after market close, we have Tesla and IBM. So that Tesla is going to be very important. For now, we'll just focus on the rest of these. How did earnings go so far this morning? Verizon actually met EPS and they beat on revenue. And also they had relatively strong guidance. Just close this. Pretty good guidance. Excuse me. Pretty good guidance for them on the wireless subscriber ads. Not bad whatsoever as the share price is going up. Johnson Johnson also had a slight beat when it comes to their earnings, but on top of this, guidance was pretty decent. And we're actually going to see if this continues to push. So they're forecasting strong sales once again. That's not bad whatsoever. Guidance is pretty decent. So that's good news for them. Excuse me, guys. I apologize about that. GE had a big sell-off because despite earnings being kind of mixed, they also had a very, very bad outlook. So the profit outlook is missed. It's not looking good for them. This has led to a bigger sell-off, and that's very, very important. So guidance was not strong for GE. This is why it's selling off the way it has. Besides that, as far as Tesla goes, I saw a good piece of news. The Tesla Chinese registrations have come out, and they're actually up 58% to 11,700 in January's third week. That is good news for Tesla with strong looking numbers for now. This could help the share price try to improve. And besides that, most of the news is just like repeats from yesterday. So that's a good piece of news for Tesla that's contributing to this thing attempting to bounce. So now the question is, what's going to happen to Tesla and the market? It's going to depend on different factors, not to mention the data at 10 o'clock a.m., right? We have the manufacturing and shipment numbers at 10 a.m. For Tesla, this is kind of looking like a reaccumulation right here. But in order for this to push, we have to try to break 212. If we break this, a bigger push is going to be coming to higher levels like 216 to 217. If we break that, our next target is going to be all the way up to the 220s, right? If we end up failing, if this is like a bear flag, right, you're going to be watching this thing come down to about 207. If that fails us, 205 will be our next target, followed by lower levels like 202 to 200. In my opinion, Tesla's attempting to rebound, but in order for this to continue, we're going to be watching the data at 10 a.m. to see if this helps the market push more. And we're going to be watching Tesla's reaction to it. As of right now, it's starting to make higher highs and higher lows. It's attempting to reaccumulate and bounce. So watch it very, very carefully. Let's see if Tesla could try to get back above 212. Otherwise, it's going to be stuck just chopping around. In my opinion, it looks like it may attempt to push higher, but just to be safe and wait for the data to come out, we'll see what that causes for the markets. In terms of SPY is also attempting to push up. It's actually at 484 to turn bullish. So what I actually thought would happen was I thought we would see this thing drop a little bit more to fill this gap and then attempt to balance, but it actually didn't drop more than that. It actually held support from yesterday. So especially thanks to earnings and such, we'll be watching to see how the data affects this. If this thing continues to push towards 485 and breaks above that after the data is released, we're going to see a nice move to at least 486, then 487.5. If we're bearish after the data comes out, right, and this thing starts sinking, watch the critical support at 482.75. If we lose that, we're going to be dropping all the way down to 481, 480, then 478. In my opinion, this is trying to reaccumulate, so this is technically looking a little bit bullish. We could be forming kind of like a double top-like formation, so it's going to try to push a little higher. We'll have to see if it rejects or if it tries to break out, right? We'll have to watch that very, very carefully. It could also be forming kind of like a cup and handle if it continues, so watch it very carefully, and we'll see if the market could continue to push. We have a lot of big data coming out, so we'll see how this affects the market at 10 a.m., so watch that very carefully. On the QQQ, it's the same thing essentially. It's attempting to push up, but it's barely in the 422s. If you want to be bullish, you want to see it break above this wick. Our next target is going to be very close to 425. If we break that, 427 is next, followed by 429. If we're bearish, you want to see this come down below 421, excuse me. If we lose 421, there's 420. We have to hold above that. Otherwise, we sink all the way down to the 418s and 416s. In my opinion, this is looking like another reaccumulation, so it might actually attempt to push higher, technically speaking. But just to be safe, watch and see what the reaction is after the data at 10 o'clock a.m. For Apple stock, it's the same thing. Apple's looking like it's trying to push a little higher, but it's still fighting this resistance between 194.4 to 195. If we break this resistance, we can push all the way up to about 197. If we fail to break it, we're going to be sinking back down to about 193. If that fails us, our next target is going to be all the way down here towards this cap fill around 191 to 190.5. What do I think it's doing? Well, it's forming a nice kind of like bullish wedge-like structure, excuse me, guys. So there might be an attempt to push higher on Apple. So it is looking like it's favoring the bulls a little bit more. In order for this to play out, so let's see what the reaction is after the data. It might try to push higher, so watch 195 very carefully and see if we can break that. For Nvidia, we're just kind of stuck. We're consolidating. And we're going to be watching what the move is. It's just very, very tight right now. If we're bullish, you want to see this breakout above 600. If it breaks 600 to 602, it's going to be pushing to 605 to 607. If we're bearish, you want to see it lose 595. If it loses this, our next target is 592, followed by 587. As of right now, it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So we'll have to see how it ends up reacting. But watch and see how the data affects it. Otherwise, it's just very choppy, very sideways for now. With that being said, thank you all so much for listening. Please have an absolutely spectacular rest of the day. Watch Tesla very carefully, and it's good we got some good news in terms of insurance registrations. So we'll see how it goes for Tesla. Let's hope it can try to break above 212. Otherwise, guys, have a great day. Remember to take care of your health, and just know that the market's long-term future, especially for Tesla, is still very bright despite anything that happens right now. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, and peace out.